Jana, do you want to take the floor to introduce the speakers?
Yes. So hello, everyone. Welcome to the Trenton Computer Festival. Thank you for entering our event. My name is Gianna Nieves, and I'm a computer engineering student at the College of New Jersey. I have the honor to introduce our speaker and topic for this session, which is Microsoft Tips and Tricks, Be Mindful of Our Environment, with Kristen Callahan from Mercer County Community College. So I'm going to give some background and read the abstract. The average American spends 7 hours and 11 minutes of screen time per day. The majority of this time is spent on mobile devices. How can we become more productive while being mindful of preserving our environment? Come join the fun as we help each other learn how to take advantage of Microsoft product offerings. What are the tips and tricks you use to increase your productivity? We'll start with the basics and go from there. So Kristen Callahan has worked with business and technology for over 40 years. She held several management positions in IBM, IMS America, and Peterson. In addition, she managed her own business, Princeton Entrepreneurial Resources, Inc. Currently, she shares her expertise with others as a tenured professor at Mercer County Community College, where she teaches business application classes and manages several programs. Callahan has a BA from Bucknell University and an MBA from Rutgers School of Management. So now I'll be handing it over to Kristen Callahan.
Great. Thank you so much for that introduction. And I welcome monitor help if I get stuck here along the way. So thank you very much for being with us as we go through this. So let's see here. Moving forward. There we go. Okay. So I'm delighted to spend the next 40 minutes with you talking about Microsoft tips and tricks, and again, being mindful of the environment. Now, I have been working with, as you heard, for many, many years in sharing tips and tricks, but I was a bit challenged when asked to do this presentation, and I'll tell you why. I was told that we would be talking about climate, technology, and democracy. And in fact, our keynote speaker this afternoon, Dr. Kopp, will be addressing just that topic. So I was a little stymied, like, how do I relate Microsoft tips and tricks to climate, technology, and democracy? Well, I'm not sure I can talk much about democracy, but I began thinking, climate, technology, why don't we focus our presentation today on sustainability? So that's what I'm going to attempt to do with knowing sustainability, sort of our theme for the day. Like any good presenter, I thought I should sort of set the ground rules. Like, what do we mean by sustainability? Of course, we want to avoid the depletion of our natural resources in order to maintain an ecological balance. So to do that, environmental sustainability occurs when natural resources are preserved. So we're going to work together looking at our technology and tips and tricks and how we can do that. So let me tell you generally what I'm hoping to do in the next, like I say, 35, 40 minutes. I hope to drive home 3 important takeaways, if you will. We're going to use Microsoft and technology, but we're going to preserve the environment. So what are we going to do? We'll minimize our printing. We're going to do our best to save documents without printing. And we're going to work and learn how to best organize our digital files. So that's generally my plan. And now I'll share with you my topics so that you know what we're going to be covering. What I hope to do is talk about how to reduce our carbon footprint. We know that we're faced today with document overload and photo overload. Oh my goodness, how much paper do we get every single day? We're bombarded with information and pages. It's so easy to take photographs anymore with our phones, and we do it constantly. But it's a lot of information, right? It's a lot of stuff. So we're going to use Microsoft File Management to help us keep organized. And we're going to take advantage of Microsoft OneCloud, which is, of course, Microsoft's answer to cloud storage. Then, if we have time, I'm hoping we'll do just the sort of generic tips and tricks. And I've got a few that I want to share with you. But goodness knows, Microsoft, there are so many ways of, increasing your productivity by using Microsoft tools that I hope you too will share some favorite tips and tricks, and we'll make that a little bit more interactive. So that's my plan. I wanted you to know. So if this works for you, I hope you'll stay with me and we'll have fun together. If it's not quite you had in mind, I know there are other tracks that have interesting speakers, so have at it, whatever works for you. Okay, so let's get started. So how are we going to use Microsoft to decrease our carbon footprint? Well, for starters, we're not going to print. We're going to, when we have the opportunity to print, we're going to save to a PDF. We're going to scan and capture images. When we get information that we want to hold on to, we're not going to rip out the page of the magazine. We're not going to save the paper. We're going to scan it. We're going to capture that image. Other things we can do when we get documents that require a signature, traditionally what you would do is print it out, and then you would sign the paper, and then you would send it back. But this, we're going to talk about a way that we can insert our own digital signature. So there'll be no need to print and sign. You can insert a digital signature. We're going to look at how Microsoft gives us the opportunity to save our files directly as a PDF. We're going to look at how to manage and organize those digital files. And then again, use OneDrive. OneDrive allows us to back up, to share our files, to collaborate it in real time. And there's more we'll be talking about with that. Overall, the goal is we want to reduce our paper consumption. So how do we print PDFs? How do we print our files? So we print to PDF and not to paper. Well, you know, when you print, if this is the standard backdoor within Microsoft, here I'm looking at PowerPoint, but this is the same that it would be as if we were within PowerPoint, Excel, or in Access or Word. But when we go to print, rather than printing to our standard printer, there's a drop down right here, and we can change and now print to an Adobe PDF file and save that file. Then what do? We'll talk later. We're going to use our file management tools to save it in an appropriate place. Again, this can be done within Word, with any of our photos, our images, Excel, and in PowerPoint. Now, what about saving our receipts, our agreements? Many of you maybe also do online bill pay. Rather than writing checks, let's reduce the amount of paper and instead save copies. We're pulled in so many directions, whether you're sitting at the kitchen table, at the board table, in your classrooms. There's so much paper and so much information. Some of it we can dismiss, but others we want to save for later reference and reading. So one idea, screenshot. You may be familiar with a screenshot. All windows shown, you can capture the entire contents using a screenshot. And I have a little image to show you that. So here I am looking at Word. And within Word, when we look across the ribbon, in the Insert tab, there's an option here called Screenshot. And again, you can see there's a down arrow within that screenshot. We have the ability of capturing any of the open windows just by toggling through and then clicking that screen capture. Another thought, we can do screen print. And again, depending on your keyboard, whether you have a full QWERTY keyboard, maybe you could hit that print screen, or maybe you're working with a reduced sized keyboard, much like on a laptop like I have, and then They're over here on the right-hand side. Screen print is shared with another tool. So to do print screen, simply hit one of those two keys, or you can also hit Control Alt print screen. What that does is create a copy that would be saved to your clipboard that can be pasted just anywhere. Again, into any document, whether we're talking about Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, we can print that screen print. The tool I like to use is called the snipping tool. The snipping tool is available from Microsoft. You can capture all or portion of your screen. And what I like about that is you can drag and freeform shapes. You can grab the image and then you can even edit it, because Microsoft provides us with the Print Tools tab. And with that, you can edit, you can save, you can crop, you can share. So again, snipping tool is if you simply go to the bottom of your screen, and let's see if I can do that for us. Give me 1 second. Let's see. You know what? I'm going to wait because I don't want to lose my screen here. If you hit the search button at the bottom of the Windows screen, you can type snipping. Up pops this snipping tool dialog box. And when you click on new, you can capture the screen that you want. And again, freeform. I like it very much. That's probably one of my very favorite tools. So what about photos? How can we be more efficient when working with our photos and again, avoid printing them? Well, photos, traditionally we used to make a photo album as you're seeing on my screen. Now you can create a photo album inside of PowerPoint. In preparing for this presentation, I found there are over 50 photo album templates available for organizing your photos. We take so many photos, why not organize them again so that they can be shared? A photo can be embedded inside of a document, and Microsoft provides us tools for doing that. Again, if you go to the Insert tab, which is available across all of our Microsoft applications, you have the opportunity of inserting a picture. When you click on the picture, it's going to go into your photo library. You can choose the photograph that you wish to insert into your document. I mentioned the photo album option. That's here within PowerPoint. You can see the down arrow, so you can pick out the kind of photo album that you want. Again, this would be creating an electronic file, not a printed file, which you can then save and share. Microsoft offers picture tools. Picture tools are wonderful. Once you create an image, the ribbon pops up, and on the ribbon, you can see right here through format, just a variety of tools that you can use. We can remove the background. We can remove the background. We can adjust the colors. We can change the shape of our photos. We can do all kinds of things. Over here, we can crop. We can do some free form. It's wonderful. It's not quite Illustrator, but it certainly is a wonderful tool and comes to us within Microsoft's basic products. Okay, once we set up our photos the way we want, why not share them through OneDrive or Dropbox? You want to share photos from a family trip, a family reunion. Your photos and videos can all be accessed from any device if we put them up in the cloud. So we'll be talking about the power of that cloud and how to work within Microsoft's OneDrive. Okay, I mentioned the ability to create a handwritten digital signature. It's nice to have a signature that's simply saved within your file so that when you get a document that requires a signature, you don't have to print it. You simply insert your signature. So that's my signature right there. And let me show you how I did it. Very simple. Write your signature on a piece of paper. You can scan that page and then save it into one of these common file formats. Scan it. Now, maybe you have a printer that allows you to scan. If not, I use a tool called Cam Scanner, which is a free app that I've downloaded on my phone. There are quite a few free applications that you can download that allow you to scan. Some you can need to pay for when you get into more advanced things, but a simple scan and emailing to yourself is free and very easy to do. Then go ahead and open that image file once you've saved it and uploaded. And like you saw from the picture tools I showed on the previous screen, they pop up because Microsoft knows we're working with a photo file. Then you can crop it, you can darken it, you can fix it just the way you want so that your signature will be viewable. Then right-click that image and save it as a picture, and then you'll have that as a separate file that you can then insert to documents. To add a signature to your documents, you simply click Insert, like we saw, and then go click on Pictures. It'll take you into your picture library, and then you can insert. Now, what about the other way around? You're creating a document that you want to share with someone, and you want to indicate where you want to have that signatures placed. Well, Microsoft comes to us with a signature line command. It's over on the very right-hand side of the Word ribbon. It's in the text group, and you can insert a signature line. And it has an X that shows where the signer is supposed to put their signature. You simply click where you want the line, and then you click Insert Line, and again, Microsoft Office signature line, and then it's set up just that way. You can indicate the person's name, the title, and click OK, and there it appears inside of your document so that when you share with others, they know exactly where they should be signing. So again, a nice tool that comes to us through Microsoft's Word. Okay, so we talked a lot about saving our files. And saving our files, and I'm encouraging us to consider saving files as a PDF. A PDF, you've heard about that. We know PDF. We know that right now we're in tax season, right? And to get the files that you need for completing your taxes, we go to the .gov website and download PDF files. PDFs are simply documents that are not editable. Right? These are documents that are simply a picture of the page. They can be viewed easily on any machine through Adobe Reader, which again is free software that you can download on your computer. Most computers these days come with Adobe Reader preloaded. Microsoft offers the ability to save any of our documents to a PDF. Whether you're within Word, whether you're within an image, whether you're within PowerPoint or Excel, you simply click on Save As, and rather than saving to the Microsoft file, you save then to a PDF file. Okay, so now we've talked about lots of files that we've saved. And we're not now using paper files, we're using electronic files. So how do we keep track of all these? How do we find them when we need them? Well, we're going to work with Microsoft's file management system. File Explorer helps us organize our files and our images. We can keep track of our folders and files, whether we're online or offline, which is wonderful. Organize your files into meaningful folders and subfolders. Within Microsoft File Management, we can copy files, we can move files, we can rename files, we can delete files. So the question becomes, how do we create names that are meaningful and folders that are meaningful? Well, that's a trick in and of itself. So I've got some ideas I'll share with you, and I'm hoping that you all will share with us some ideas. We want to increase our productivity by spending less time searching for those files. So I'm very eager to learn what you all have done. One of the nice things with OneDrive we'll find out is that you can save all of the files on your hard drive to the cloud so that you can access your files from anywhere. Now, Windows comes with 4 main libraries: documents, music, pictures, and videos. All the files that we're talking about and rename and putting them in folders will appear within these folders. So sometimes that might have been something you questioned. Okay, so what are some ideas for organizing our computer files? Well, I guess probably basically, once you set up an organizational structure, stick with it. So one word, skip the desktop. And I am what should I say? I am guilty of this a little bit as well. I have been seen in my travels desktops that have documents all over the desktop. You might think, oh, I'll just keep it here, but think of it like your desk. If you had papers everywhere, it's kind of a mess. So I would view the desktop as a temporary place for keeping your files, but not as the go-to for saving files. Skip the downloads. No, well, we're always downloading our files. That's fine. Download a file, but once it's downloaded, I recommend opening it up or grabbing it, placing it in the right spot, giving it the right name, and then periodically clearing out your downloads. Because to have too much of that information can only be confusing and adds documents where you don't need them. I just mentioned that. File things as soon as you can. Don't let them pile up. Don't let them pile up too much. Maybe you even want to set up a time where once a week or so that you kind of look to make sure everything's organized in the way it should be. Again, only to help you later on. So when you're trying to look for things, they're in the right place and searchable. In terms of naming, I just put this, choosing a name like marketing plan for a document, maybe not so good. Maybe marketing plan, whatever the client and the date, that much better. And maybe you'll have a system where you're even going to use naming convention of date like 01/01/22 or something, so that you label all of your documents with the date. It's really up to you, but how do you best search? Search is very powerful. You don't want to use too many folders because that gets to be messy too. Set up a plan and just keep tweaking, keep working with it till it works for you. So what are the filing methods we might use? Some folks choose to use subject and then category. I have to say, in my teaching career, what I often do is pick the name of the course, CIS 175. Within CIS 175, within that folder, I put in what I'm going to cover in terms of lesson plans. I put in assessments. I put in student performance, and I organize it that way. Then within that, I have semesters. Just my system, and it kind of works for me. but it's taken me a little while to get to that. Another thought may be alphabetical order, the numbering, or dates, chronological order. Maybe that's what you want to do, by year, by month, or maybe it's location, particularly if you're a traveler and you're trying to keep track of where you've been and what you did at each of those places. I don't know what's going to work for you, but we'll talk about, I'd love to hear your thoughts on how you're organizing files. Okay, so now I wanted to talk to you a little bit about OneDrive. I don't know how many of you use OneDrive, but it is a tool available to us from Microsoft. Microsoft answer to working within the cloud. Why is that helpful? Well, to go back to our sustainability topic, it helps us eliminate papers, documents, and photos, and keep them organized in a spot where we can access it from any of our devices. We can back up. OneDrive I've been using for with my family when we're setting up trips. I can put within OneDrive, create a folder, and within that folder, allow others to come in and share their ideas, and we come up with a plan together. So we're not back and forth emailing, sharing documents, but we have kind of a workspace where we can all work together to share our ideas. Now, there are two types of OneDrive. There's one for personal use and one for business use. The personal one, or the business one, I guess, offers, it used to be part of SharePoint, My Sites, and it's part of the Office 365 infrastructure. So there are more capabilities if you're within an organization. But let me show you, I want to move to this one. Sorry. So OneDrive, if in terms of a personal account, we get 5 gigabytes free when you simply open up a Microsoft account. That might not be enough. If you need more, you can also have a Microsoft account for $2 a month or $20 a year. It gives you 100 gigabytes. And of course, 100 gigabytes, that's a fair amount. That's 1,000 gigabytes. That's a lot of space. If you choose to get Microsoft 365, Microsoft 365 not only gives you, of course, OneDrive, but it also gives you a subscription to all of the Office applications. When I say all, it's Outlook, Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. Plus, I believe you get OneDrive and a couple others, but basically that's what you get. And that can be, you can get that for $70 a year or $7 a month. If you choose to get a Microsoft family, then you can get up to 6 people can be using that. And that's very cost effective at $100 a year. And you're always guaranteed to have the latest software. So once you set up your OneDrive, then you can now actually, when you get Windows 10 or 11, your operating system will be already configured so that it automatically backs up all of your hard drive files to OneDrive. But here's a dialog box that shows you how you can pick and choose what you want to be backed up to OneDrive. Now, all of your OneDrive folders stay, let's see, I got one more. Yeah, let me go back, sorry. All of your OneDrive folders are private and only available to you unless you choose to share them with others. There is even a vault built inside of OneDrive that has extra protection involved with it so that you can save some of your documents privately and be sure that it's going to be protected. Okay, now I'm going to move to my next slide and just talk about some of the basic Microsoft time savers than I'm using on a regular basis. Oh, don't we love Control C, we can copy, Control V, we can paste, Control S, we save, Control N, we bring up a new document, Control Z, undo, Control F, love that one. You can find, and with Control R, you can replace documents with, replace words within your documents. So those are all wonderful. There's more, and I'm eager to hear what you're working with. Now, the ribbon. I love the ribbon, but sometimes I don't want to use the ribbon and I want to just do the shortcuts myself. If you do Alt, well, you have the ribbon up on your screen, then you can see all the ribbon shortcuts. And then Alt Tab. Again, if we're talking about sustainability and our ability to work without printing documents, I often have multiple windows open. I love using the Alt Tab that allows me to toggle through all my open screens, or even get a second monitor so that you can have multiple things open at the same time. Okay, well, there's more things that we can talk about, but I'm ready to move now to learn what some of your tips and tricks are. So monitors, maybe you can help me. I want to now open the screen so that I can hear what others might want to share.
Sure, Chris, thank you so much for sharing so far. So I will open the floor for any questions. So you can just unmute yourself and we can all hear you. Okay, actually, maybe Chris, you can clear some questions in the chat box.
Okay.
I will read that out for you. So one question we received is OneDrive like Google Drive? Advantages: I find it hard to organize folders in Google Drive.
Oh, interesting. Hard to, and what, is that your comment or someone in the audience?
No, it's
someone from the audience.
It's my comment, Kristen.
Okay, could you tell me more about that, please?
Well, for reasons, my name is Barbara Fox, and for reasons we both know, I have IBM desktops. Yes. But I also have Apple products for a cell phone camera. And an extraordinary amount of photos that I'm transferring from Apple to Google Drive. But now I'm interested in your comments about the differing capabilities of Google Drive versus OneDrive.
Oh, very good. Honestly, I don't know if I can give you, maybe some in the audience will even have more experience. I used to use Google Drive all the time, actually. And then, I don't know, I just sort of moved over into OneDrive. I don't know that I could do a good comparison for you. I'm sorry. You've used both and find one easier than the other?
I didn't even know about OneDrive until you talked about it.
Oh, okay.
But everybody, I belong to different organizations that use Google Drive, and everybody agrees that it's hard to organize folders and keep them straight in Google Drive. So perhaps OneDrive would be easier.
Let me see if I can, I'm not great at this, but let me see if I can show you. Okay.
Because one comment that might help. Google actually does everything based on search. So they kind of have that model where it's, hey, you put everything here and then just search for it and you'll find it. That's why even things like Gmail don't work as well with a folder concept. They work more with a label concept to find things. And that's probably where the struggle is. Microsoft has always done a folder-based structure because of how people are used to working with folders on their desktop. So with OneDrive, you will find it more folder-based.
Oh, excellent.
Okay, so can you say that? So you said Google's more labels. So that's the name of the file?
So in the case of Google, and this is both Google Drive and Gmail, right? They basically So they're a search company, right? So when they started getting into email and they started getting into files, they very much got into, hey, just give it to us, and then when you want it, just type it in whatever you're looking for into search, and we'll bring the file to you. Which is less than a Microsoft model where you have a folder-based structure where you're digging down into it. So where OneDrive will allow you to have a folder and will allow you to structure your documents. And they do have search as well. Google relies much more heavily on their search capabilities because people did want that folder-like structure. You'll notice in things like Gmail, you actually have to apply like labels to make folders. So it's kind of weird, and it causes, I use Gmail and it drives me nuts regularly. And that's because of the fact that you go, oh, I'm going to make this label, and it looks like a label from the UI, and you can drop folders into it, drop emails and things into that quote folder, but it's really not a folder. It's actually a label on the email. So that's probably where you're running into it. There's actually a lot of power in it from what Google does, but you got to get really used to understanding how they function.
I guess I'm trying to equate a label to what? The name of the photo, or
the label works more well in a lot of cases. You deal with it as a folder. So if you were going to do folder for class ABC, right? Like in OneDrive, you would create a folder called class ABC, and you'd put all the files in there.
Right.
In the case of Google, in a lot of cases, you actually create a label called class ABC. And then you're actually applying that label to each of those files or emails or whatever. The benefit is you can actually apply multiple labels to the same file, but it does confuse people a lot of times.
Yeah, really. Oh, well, Barbara, hopefully that helps. That helped me and maybe helped you.
It did. Thank you.
Okay. Am I sharing my OneDrive screen?
No.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. Let's
Actually.
Give me a second here.
Meantime, Chris, we have more questions coming up. Do you want to address those first, or you want to?
Can you? I was just going to show you OneDrive. I don't know.
Sure.
Are you seeing it on my screen now?
Yes, we can see.
Oh, yay. Yeah. And then I want to go back. Okay, to tell Barbara. So when you create a Microsoft account, which you can do easily by going to Outlook.com, I'll actually put the screen. I'll put the address in the chat. Once you create that, over here in the left-hand corner where all those little boxes are, these are all the things that become available to you. So I simply clicked on OneDrive. Let's see, here we go. And here when I'm within OneDrive, you can see you can create your folders. Here's where you can store your photos. Okay. And other people can upload the photos. Here you can create albums. You can tag them, which I guess is similar then to labels. Okay. Or put places against them. So that's OneDrive. And again, you get 5 terabytes free to you just by opening up an account, and you can pay the fees that I showed you in that previous slide. Okay, and I'm going to go into my files for a minute. You can see I've got a few. Here's that personal vault I described to you where you have extra protection if you want to put in some, your passport number, social security numbers, stuff like that. Things that are, you want extra protection can go into the vault. Within the documents, that's just standard stuff. And like here, for example, is my presentation for today. But I don't know if that helps you, just to give kind of an idea of how you can organize. And like our colleague just said previously, standard Microsoft, which I'm so used to, you create everything within folders and keep it organized, much like the traditional filing cabinet. So ready for more questions. Sorry about that. Or sharing.
Thank you so much for sharing that. So we actually, let me see. Let me open to the audience. Do anyone who wants to ask a question, you can unmute yourself. Okay. If no, then I will go through the chat box. So add
something to the different. One thing you can do with labels that you can't do with folders is that you can have a file that's in multiple labels, but you can't really have the same file in multiple folders.
That's true.
So if you've got a file that belongs to several folders, you have to find some way of either virtually copying it to that or making links to it. Whereas with the labels, you just put a new label on it and you can have as many labels to things as you want.
Can we push that a little further? So an example, you have a photograph, you can label it Jersey Shore. You could label it, I don't know, like July 4th, 2005. You can label it family, and it would, am I on the right track here? So that any one of those labels will bring up that same photo?
Yeah.
I wonder, and I don't know, because I haven't tried it.
It does make things a lot easier to find than if it's in a folder.
I wonder if within Microsoft,
the way Microsoft, I mean, just trying to find the host file is stupid. They figured, well, we don't want people or things to play with the host file, so they put it in Windows System 32 drivers, etc. Well, so why put it in something as silly as that?
Right. I wonder, and I just don't know, but I wonder if by tagging, you can then access it from different angles, kind of like we were talking about the photo.
Well, the thing with labels is all the files exist in one place, whereas with folders, they all exist in sub places.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear what you're saying. I'm just wondering if that tagging feature would allow us to do the ability to search a little easier from multiple angles. I'd have to experiment.
Mm-hmm.
Kristen?
Yes.
Yeah, hi. This was great. Extremely illuminating and opened up a lot of new ideas and possibilities to me.
Great.
Is there any chance you'd be able to provide a link to your slides?
Yes, moderator. How does that work? Aren't the slides going to be available to everyone after this? The answer is yes, I'm happy to share, but I think the organization's taking care of that. Am I right?
Actually, Kristen, you can type your would you mind typing a link to your chat box, or you can give it to me? We can share with all the participants.
Okay, great.
Yeah, we can use OneDrive to to share.
I would also like to mention that this meeting's being recorded, so we will be sharing this out as well.
Okay, great. So the recorded meeting you'll also have access to the slides will be available. Am I right?
The recording sometimes can take a while. I know last year it took a couple of months for the actual videos to get uploaded.
I'm more than happy to share.
Yeah.
And I don't know, should I be doing that now or? Whoops, sorry. Sorry.
Now, but do we have more questions open up? I guess. Let's see.
Kristen, do you have a blog or website?
I don't. Interesting, but maybe I guess I've just been so no, the answer is I don't.
Okay.
But I am at Mercer County Community College and easily reachable.
Okay, great. Well, thank you again. Really appreciate all the tips.
The one other thing I wanted to share with all of you, and again, it may be common knowledge to many, but I find when I'm teaching, it's very confusing to students about Microsoft. There are options now. So Office is available kind of in 3 different, flavors. Office Online is available and free to anyone. All you need is that Microsoft account, like I showed you a couple slides ago, where in the upper left-hand corner, you can pick which of these applications you want to work with: Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, or OneDrive, and some of these others. That is absolutely free. However, it is kind of a generic application, so it doesn't have all of the bells and whistles. It's got, maybe 5 of the tabs, a basic ribbon, but you can't do all of the features. Like, for example, the picture tools that I brought up that allow us to format and change, that would not be within the online version, but it's free. Then there's also the subscription, which is $365. We looked at the pricing earlier, and that will, with a subscription, you get the latest version of the application always, and the latest release. So you're always working with the latest version of the software. Then you can also purchase Office. And right now we're on Office 2021. Honestly, I have on my machine Office 2016. So once you get the Office on your machine, you just have to purchase. It's like the old shrink wrap, but you can download the version, but you pay for it, and it's good for, however long you want to have it. So there are 3 opportunities for getting Microsoft.
Thanks. We do have an open question. It's how do I remove things from OneDrive for business and not from my laptop? They tend to be synced.
So you can unsync that's what you would do. You'd unsync and then delete the one that you want to delete and then resync.
So if you resync again, that wouldn't impact what you, like your previous actions on the deletion.
Correct. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that.
So yeah, I think you saw that one dialog box where I showed you can uncheck or check the kind of backup that you want to be taking place. Really good.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, I think that's all the questions from the chat box.
Okay, wonderful. So before I sign out, I want to make sure that I do put the link for the slides. So I'll do that at the end, if that's okay.
Sure, you can stay on the call. Anyone who wants to get the slides immediately, you can also stay on the call. And okay. I think Grace will share her. Do you know how to use the chat box?
I do.
Sure, good, great. Yeah, it can be hidden. The icon can be hidden sometime. Sure, if you can share the link to your slide, that would be very helpful for our audience.
Okay. Great. Perfect. So maybe I will. So I gave some really quick and dirty shortcuts that I use, but I would love for others to share what are some of your favorite shortcuts that you use. Microsoft, you can do often, they'll offer opportunities to do the same thing 7 different times, right? Yeah. Copy, paste, etc. Many different ways. So I'd like to open up the floor if I could and find out what are some of the shortcuts that you all use.
Just a really basic one. If I'm working with, say, 6 files and I want to find them quickly, I name them beginning with an A. And then when I'm done with them, I move them down in the alphabet. And when I really think they don't work anymore, but I'm afraid to erase them, then I precede them with an X.
Okay. Can you run that through? So you're working on a presentation or writing a paper, right?
No, just in general work, and I've got too many files and I want to find them quickly.
Right.
So the ones, or yes, if I'm working on a presentation. So the ones I'm working with, I put at the top.
Yep.
Preceded by an A.
Yep.
And I'm no longer working with them. I take the A away, and when they're old and not useful anymore, but I'm afraid to erase them, I precede them with an X.
Great. So that's one thing. Thanks for mentioning that, because I don't think I really mentioned that in my presentation here, but the Microsoft system is to line up everything in alphabetical order, A through Z. And when you working with file management, folders always come first and then files come after that. So was that Barbara? Was that the one that shared her?
Yes.
Yeah. So as Barbara said, if she puts an A in front of the file folder name, it'll pop to the front. It's just by hitting an F5 or a refresh, and that'll bring that screen up and you can see all those folders. Okay. And then when you're finished working, that's clever. You just remove the A's and then it'll go back in order. That's great.
Kristen?
Yes.
Hi, Phyllis here. I agree with that. I do that a lot. I also use that put it in date order choice that you can do instead of name order, so I can find the most recent documents I did in case they accidentally got saved under the wrong name.
Got it.
Putting things in date order also.
Okay, great. And then maybe, again, I'm not, let's see if I go, give me 1 second here. I'm just going to look at my, what I want to do. Let's see if I can do this. If I just need to exit my scoop on. Here we go. I don't know. Are you seeing? Let's see. Am I doing this right? Are you seeing my desktop? What are we seeing now? Sorry.
OneDrive.
Okay, let me switch. Okay. Okay. I am now going down. Now I think you're back to my screen, I hope. And you can see my taskbar at the bottom. Maybe?
Can't see your taskbar. It's cut off.
Okay, I wonder if I make that screen a little. Let me see. Still can't see.
Isn't that the taskbar is at the top?
Yeah, no, I am looking. Let's make this bigger. I'm not doing well enough here. What I wanted to show you on the taskbar, when you go to the taskbar at the bottom of your screen, and there is a file folder right there. One of the nice things you can also change is your view. And if you change the view, maybe I'll do that. I'm going to try this, a new share, sorry. I'm going to try this one now. Okay, now you're seeing a Word document, maybe? A blank Word document?
Correct.
Okay, great. And I'm going to try again and hope that at the bottom of my screen, okay. Oh, I'm moving around here a little bit. Okay, if I go to the bottom of the screen, can you now see the bottom of my Word screen?
No, just Word itself. The bottom's cut off. Unless it's just me and somebody else wants to say something.
Oh,
maybe if you just open file folder.
I sure did. I just opened file folder, hoping that you're seeing that. And I wanted to go now into my documents. Great, and I'm showing you the order, and you're talking
just
about
Microsoft Word is just showing. We're still seeing only Microsoft Word.
Kristen, when you try to share your screen, try pressing in the top left. Once you press share screen, it says screen under it, so that'll show your whole screen instead of just the Word doc.
Okay.
Yeah, Kristen, sorry, we actually running out of time here. So we.
Oh no!
Yeah, I don't think we will have time to go through this demo. Do you mind If you want, you can share that in your link to everybody.
I sure will. My apologies. What I was going to talk about was views, but I'm very sorry.
Actually, one question let me answer from the chat that I tried to send, but it got sent to the wrong person. So for people that are having problems with syncing with OneDrive, where it basically they want to keep a local